So the United States is going to join World War I. They're going to join World War I in 1917. We're going to join on the side of the Allies, and we're going to help them win the war. The United States, prior to the war, is going to stay neutral. The President Wilson is going to declare that the United States remain neutral, which is known as isolationism, which is a policy of not being involved in the affairs of other nations. I took a political cartoon from Dr. Seuss from World War II, but it does fit the idea that we don't want to get involved in what is going on in Europe. So that's why I use that political cartoon, but that's the gist behind it. We don't want to be involved in the European affairs at this time. We will lean towards the Allies. The United States is privately going to favor the Allied cause only because we are tied to them better than we are tied with Germany. We have greater political, cultural, and commercial ties to Great Britain and France over Germany only because both of those countries have had a hand in our founding through Great Britain, through wars and colonization. So we do relate better to France and Great Britain than we would with Germany. Germany really hasn't had too many dealings with the United States. But the United States is actually very, very far from neutral. We will sell arms to both the Allies and the Central Powers. We will supply Germany with munitions until we join the war. But we're also going to support Great Britain, and we're going to end up giving them a lot of munitions as well for the war before we end up joining it. Germany is going to use what is known as submarine warfare. Britain had blockaded Germany's ports, and to retaliate against them, the Germans created what are known as the U-boats. U-boats roughly translate into small submarines. The Germans are going to patrol the waters around the British Isles, shooting down any ships they believe could be carrying munitions or war supplies. February 1915, Germany announced that the waters around Great Britain would be a war zone. So they're going to destroy any enemy ships in unrestricted submarine warfare. So they're going to take them down no matter what. This angers a lot of Americans. It says it violates laws of neutrality. So tensions between the Americans and the Germans are also going to start rising as well, because Americans don't like the way that the Germans are treating the British, and also because there's a lot of Americans who are in the waters around the British Isles as well via luxury liners and other things that put them on ships. So they don't want their loved ones to have any part of being shot down in the war, because we're still neutral. So the Germans shouldn't really be shooting any ships that have parties from neutral countries on them, but the Germans don't care about that. The Germans will sink the Lusitania in 1915. This is a luxury liner out of Great Britain. There are roughly 1,200 passengers on the ship. 128 of them are Americans. The Germans claim that when they shot down the British luxury liner, the Lusitania, that there were war munitions on board. The British declared that there was not. There was no reason for them to shoot down or sink the Lusitania. In fact, we do know after the fact that there were munitions stored in the bow of the boat, and when the Germans hit it and the boat that is why the boat exploded so spectacularly and sunk. This will anger a lot of Americans. The U.S. will demand an end to unrestricted warfare, and Germany will agree to only attack supply ships from here on out. Germany in 1916, roughly a year later, will sink the ship, the Sussex. The United States will effectively end diplomatic relations with Germany unless they stop killing innocent people. Roughly 80 people died when the Sussex went down, and Germany did that. Germany will sign the Sussex Pledge, which is a promise to not sink merchant ships without warning and without saving lives. So they are going to make an effort to stop doing what they are doing. But when President Wilson gets reelected, February 1st, Germany will resume unrestricted submarine warfare, and the United States will end diplomatic relations with Germany, effectively drawing us closer to coming into the war on the side of the Allies. The Zimmermann note sent from Germany to Mexico. The Germans' point behind this was to try and keep the United States out of the European affairs, knowing that we were on the side of the Allies. So it basically stated that if Mexico would join the war and distract the United States by attacking us along our southern border, when the Germans won the war, they would reward Mexico greatly by giving them back Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, lost to the United States previously in a war with the U.S. The Germans would also financially back Mexico if they would do this for them. Mexico wanted to reclaim that lost territory, but they had no desire to fight, so the plan for Germany to keep the United States out of the war, or at least occupy it at home, backfired and will effectively lead the United States into war because the newspapers got a hold of this. It was intercepted by the British, decoded, and the newspapers printed portions of this letter angering a lot of Americans. America will declare war. The two causes that you need to know are, okay, I need you to go back to classjump.com. I want you to answer the question, why do you think the United States tried to stay neutral in the war? Answer that on the website, and I will see you tomorrow in class.